Hello everybody, this is Marquita and I'm back with another video to talk about the book of Samuel, and we are in the 2nd Samuel. Just a second. Okay, so yesterday I posted a video of Samuel 1 and I talked about how how it all went. If you want a repeat of that, just go back to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel and play it over, or better yet, just read it yourself. But in Samuel 2, David is still the anointed one, and he is over the Israel, Judah. So God had blessed him with the land of Israel and Judah as well. Now, to me, David was a good man. He was a good man. He wasn't a selfish man. He listened to the Father, and he also waited on the Father. For like when attacks is coming to him, he waited on our Father to give him the word of what to do and where to move and how to move. He waited on that. He was anointed, and that's why he was very successful in all that he had did, because he waited on our Father to guide him. So then we're going to go on. I'm going to just, you guys read Samuel 2, but I'm going to talk about chapter 11. And what shocked me when I read it, it talks about how David in chapter 11, it talks about how he went on top of the roof of the house. And so he was just looking around and he saw a beautiful woman. And now, mind you, if you read Samuel 1, David I believe he had like a total of 7, 8 wives, probably more, and he had dozens of children. So he looking at this woman, and mind you, this woman is someone else's wife. So he just looking at this woman, and he didn't told someone, I believe he told one of his servants to go ahead and get her. So she came and she went in the house. She went in David's home, and David laid in with her. He laid with her, and basically he had sex with her. And back then, it was a sin to it was a sin not to please forgive me, to pull out of the woman that you are having sex with. So he didn't do it. And so the woman was with child. She was having David's child. So I believe her husband's name was Uriah. If I'm not pronouncing it right, please correct me. But the husband had came to, after, David did his business with another man's woman. The guy, Uriah, he came to the king's house, which is David. And David told him to go home and wash your feet, basically. So Uriah, how can I go home and wash my feet? You didn't sit up here and lay with my woman, my wife. So if you guys can go on and turn to verse, I'm going to read before I get into that, I'm going to say this. So Uriah, he didn't, then David, it was a battle, he was having another attack. So David sent Uriah, if I'm not pronouncing his name right, please correct me, but he sent him off for the battle, and he ended up getting killed. So the woman, Uriah woman, his wife, she was mourning after the death. So David went and got her. I'm gonna read verse 27 in chapter 11, and it says, and when the morning was past, David, so after she mourned him, David sent and fed her to his house, meaning he went to go get her and bring her to his home. So and she became his wife and bare him a son. But listen to this. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. So he then went on and took he then had Uriah killed, and then took his wife and had a baby. She was with child. So then in chapter 12, it goes on to talk about basically his punishment from the Lord of what he had did. So I'm going to read verse 1 in chapter 12. And it says, and the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city. The one was rich and the other was poor. Now the rich man, he had a lot of things. He had flocks, he had a lot of herbs. And the poor man, he only had one little thing, which was a one little lamb that he brought up from baby. Like, he grew this baby up and considered this lamb as his daughter. So a traveler came to the city, and the rich man, instead of him taking from what he had to give to the traveler, he goes to the poor man and take his one little lamb. How selfish was that? That was very selfish of this man. So by that doing, David became very, very angry about what the rich man did, you know. So I'm going to drop down, and I go to I will go, and please read it, but I will go to verse 11, and it says, "Thus said the Lord, behold, I raise up evil against you out of thine own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes, and give them unto your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this sun." 12, for thou did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. So meaning David, he took this woman, he killed her husband, put a child in a woman. He tried to do it on the low. So, you know, this is a learning experience. Like, you cannot hide anything from our God. You cannot hide anything. What's done in the dark always come to the light. And what you're doing behind someone's back, it always going to come. God is seeing everything that anyone is doing. You know, if you are talking about somebody behind their back, God knows all of this. You know, he sees everything and know everything. So you cannot hide anything. And that's why I say, when you go to our Father, when you talk to our Father, talk from the heart. Say the truth, because he already know. So 14, it says, hereby, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemy of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto you shall surely die. So God is telling Nathan to tell David that this child from Uriah's wife is going to die. So we go on into 15, and it says, and Nathanael departed unto his house, and the Lord sent the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. You see there, God is not even saying David's wife. He's saying Uriah's wife, because she wasn't David's wife. She didn't belong to David. She belonged to another man. And David took it upon him to go ahead and get her himself when he knew he shouldn't have did it. Like, I'm like, when I read it, I said, oh man, you already had like 7, 8 wives and dozens of children. Like, what's going on? And then in here it's saying that in chapter 12, it also saying that the Lord told David, basically, if you wanted more, all you had to do basically is come to him, and he would have provided that to him, you know. And that's just like right now, if we need anything, if we want anything, you know what I'm saying, just go to our Father about it, and he best believe he will provide that for you. So you know, okay, so the baby, so David, now he knew that the baby was going to die. So he went out in the wilderness and he slept. I'm sorry, I have a little toddler going on here. But he slept, and while the baby was being born. So the baby was born on the 7th day. The baby was born, and also the baby had died that same day. And so David's servants was trying to wake him up, but they was also scared to tell him that his child had passed away. But they didn't even know that David already knew that the child was going to pass away. So when he finally woke, he woke up and he saw that his servants was whispering, like, you know, you know, stuff like that. So David walked up to him and asked them, was the child dead? And they told him, yeah. So, oh yeah, and back before, you know, they was trying to get David to eat, drink, and he wouldn't do it. So after the baby was dead, you know, and he knew of it, he went back into his house and he changed his clothes and he ate, he drank, and he was okay, because he knew God had already warned him of this was going to happen. So I'm going to go on, and then I'll go on to chapter 13 and talk about chapter 13, what really blew me away too. So David had a lot of sons, and he also had daughters too as well. But one specific daughter named Tamar, her brother, one of her brothers, was in love with her. He was in love with her, and you know that's a sin. Like, how can you be in love, like want to marry your own sister, you know? So I believe someone had told this brother to go in the house and pretend basically like you are sick. So he did that, and David had told Tamar, his daughter, to go in and cook meal for him, basically, because he's sick. So you know, she not thinking nothing of it, like, I go cook for my brother and prepare it and feed it to him, you know, because that's my brother, I love him. So she goes into the house, she prepared the food for him, and she bring it to him. And this fool, he didn't I believe he told her that he was in love with her, and she like, wait a minute, you are a fool for that. Like, no, we are sisters and brothers, basically, we can't do that. So do you know he forced himself on her. He raped her. So after that, you know, she was calling him fool or whatever, because you are a fool if you did that. So after that, he was so in love with his own sister, but then after that, he started to hate his sister. So he told his servant to, you know, the brother told the sister to get on out, and then he told the servant to lock the door, make sure the doors is locked as she leave. So she did, but I believe another son of David knew of this, or she told him or something. But eventually, the brother that raped the sister, he ended up getting killed. But someone had told David that all his sons had got killed, but really it was just one. So he just was after that he realized it was just one. And then I will be back with the rest of the chapters. I'm going to shorten this video so I could post it, and I will be back soon. Okay, you guys have a good day.